And we're live.
Cool. Well, I'm Chelsea Zegler, and we're here today in Verona with Paul Schaller for the farmers for the Upper Sugar River Farmer Talks. So why don't you get us started, Paul, and just tell us a little bit about your farm.
Okay, we have about a 200-acre dairy farm right here that we're standing on. 50 cow dairy. We produce pretty much all of the feed ourselves. We've got about 100 acres of crash cropping on the side on rented land. We have transitioned a little bit into grazing in the past year. Tried that out in 2020 just with market concerns, and liked it, so we're moving more into grazing again. And we've been doing cover crops as well, which is why I'm here. So
great. And did you always want to come back to the farm, or?
Since I was 6.
Okay.
When the Packers didn't turn out, I decided that going with farming was a good second choice.
Okay. And you seem conservation minded. Is that run in the family, or how?
Well, we had grazed in the past.
Okay.
Originally, we grazed as far as you can see and beyond. I don't know how many acres exactly, but Dad had grazed a long time. Kind of got away from it in the 90s.
Okay.
Not sure the reasoning,
Right.
but now we're moving a little bit back towards that. We've been doing Triticale.
Okay.
We've been planting Triticale for about 5 years, I believe. And that was more, as far as the cover crops go, that was our more recent management change.
Okay. Instead, you were doing just cereal rye before Triticale, or?
We actually were not doing cover crops before.
Okay.
The only cover crop would have been wheat, winter wheat, but that would have been going for grain.
Right.
So it's kind of half.
Yeah, both.
A little bit of both.
And is the Triticale, do you just chemically terminate it, or do you graze
Forage.
or harvest it? Okay.
We will chop. Typically, we've been doing 15 to 20 acres every year.
How late do you wait to chop?
Typically, we start cutting that right before we start cutting first crop.
Okay.
So it's the first thing we cut. Usually, it takes a few days longer to dry. So just try to get it down as soon as possible, and it works very well with our system.
Okay. What goes in after the Triticale?
Soybeans.
Soybeans.
And realistically, we haven't seen any drop in production on the soybeans that were after Triticale versus
no Triticale.
Yeah, versus no cover crop ahead of it.
Does the Triticale or cover crop affect your manure plan or make it easier? Or?
For the farm we have enough acreage where that's not as big of an issue.
Okay.
I think the biggest change as far as manure has gone in this past year is just going with grazing.
Right.
Not having to spread every day.
Yeah.
Has been kind of enjoyable. So that
Time
was one
saver.
of the that was one of the hidden benefits of
grazing.
us switching over to grazing.
Okay. And how are you planting the cover crops in the fall?
Right now it's conventional.
Just with the drill, or?
Yeah, we've got an older John Deere drill. It's not no-till yet.
Yeah.
We've looked, at this point it's hard to justify no-till owning. We haven't actually used a no-till drill besides planting soybeans. So we'll actually no-till after the Triticale. And the soybeans is where we're actually taking advantage of that.
Okay. And then do you chemically terminate the cover crop after you chop, or?
Yes.
Okay.
And typically we will do that that'll be the first pass and hopefully the only pass with herbicide.
Okay. Residual?
In the past we actually haven't.
Okay.
We have gone through with just a Liberty or a Liberty Roundup depending on our timing.
Okay. Was it difficult to incorporate the Triticale into a TMR or into the dairy ration? Or?
Yeah, I think the biggest difficulty that we've had is without TMR is just if you get, like I said before, with if you get a wet spring and you can't get it up right and it heads out or something, you end up with lower quality stuff that can be a fight at times.
Yeah.
But besides, when it's made right, when you have the right timing, which Triticale typically has a better window than rye.
Right.
So when you do make it right, it's as good as much of our haylage our forage is.
Okay. Do you think you'd be using the cover crops if you weren't harvesting it for forage, or?
I don't know.
Okay.
The first year we did it was without any cost sharing.
Oh, okay.
The cost sharing being there has definitely made the decision very easy.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly what I would do with or without. Yeah.
Okay. What, or I guess what spurred you to make the decision to
My
to
dad had
plant it?
originally made the decision to try
Oh, okay.
Triticale. So
With the idea for feed?
yes,
Okay.
that was the original intent.
Yeah.
And get something on the ground after winter wheat.
Okay.
Because typically we'll follow up right after winter wheat, wait a few weeks, and then
Okay.
we'll put winter wheat in after corn silage.
Okay.
This year we happen to put some Triticale after corn silage as well.
Okay.
So we've got a little bit of a mixed bag. A little more acreage this year than previously.
Unconventionally. Okay. And so then you're normally planting in September, or for
I think last
after
year
wheat?
September 15th,
Okay.
as late as into October.
Yeah. Do you remember how many bushels per acre, or?
At this point, I believe we were close to 1, but I am not actually certain at this point.
Okay. Any estimate of yield from when you harvest, or?
We haven't. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't actually done the numbers. So, it yields very similarly to our haylage, first crop haylage.
Okay.
And our first crop haylage, this is a particularly grassier field,
Mm-hmm.
but we've done kind of a 2/3 legume, 1/3 grass mix is
Okay.
the goal. And so we're not a straight alfalfa forage either.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I guess the biggest thing is those are the forages that we're used to, and they're perform pretty similarly in quality and tonnage.
And tonnage. Nice. All right. So are both you and your dad involved in the Farmers for the Upper Sugar River group?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you been?
I've
group?
just joined, I guess, in the last few years with when the cost sharing came out.
Okay.
My dad was actually the treasurer of an old Upper Sugar River watershed or
Oh,
Sugar River
okay.
watershed. I think that disbanded in the 70s or 80s.
Oh, interesting. I
So-
hadn't heard about that.
He had some history there too.
Yeah. How did you hear about the group for the first time, or?
To be honest, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think my dad had brought it up.
Yeah. that you'd
I don't
heard
know that I
something.
was in the spot to make a lot of decisions at that point.
Okay.
I wasn't looking for it.
Yeah, yeah. What's or I guess, what do you gain from the group, or what's your favorite part of kind of having a community?
The biggest, well, just going through college too. It's you learn that the only way you can grow and learn is through other people's experience.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the only way, but that is one of the most beneficial ways to improve your farm, is seeing what worked on the neighbor's farm.
Right.
Because they don't have the exact same thing as you, but trying to pull ideas from somebody in Texas or Idaho and try to bring them here, it's a lot easier to pull somebody from next door.
2 questions. One, just what do you see, what are you hoping to try in the future on your farm? And then what would you like to see kind of the group pursue, or?
Well, with going to grazing, we haven't really had the ability to graze corn stubble or anything like
Okay.
that. So the future would be, as we turn some of these pastures over, that we would start some of the alternative forages.
Okay.
Or more different or varying alternative forages that we haven't really had the opportunity to use before.
Okay, so pretty much anything that's not alfalfa or corn silage? So
Well, I mean-
sorghum sedan, or?
Yeah, we've done sorghum. We've
Okay.
had tough luck with sorghum and milo in the
Yeah.
past. We've tried 3 or 4 different varieties, and I don't know if it was just luck of the draw the years that we've picked, but we had some difficulty with that. I know there was a few guys, at least, that were doing 60-inch rows
Right,
with
right.
the intent to graze, and I haven't seen the data on that stuff yet, but
Okay.
I'm interested to look into some of that, or either flying on something
Okay.
to act as a grazable fall cover crop too. So
Okay, great. Is there anything that you'd like, that you think, how should I word this? Is there anything that you would like to see Farmers for the Upper Sugar River cost share in the future that's not available currently, or?
I don't have anything specific in mind,
Okay.
I guess,
Yeah.
in those regards. I think the biggest thing that needs to happen is just getting the word out.
Okay.
I think every year it's pretty much increased, where there's more and more awareness of the group even existing,
Right.
And what they're doing and the
Okay.
programs that they have available.
Okay.
I don't have a full, list on my
Right,
mind
right,
even.
yeah.
So,
Okay, so more advertising, for lack of a better word.
well, in the field
and-
days, I guess I didn't make it to this one this past week.
Yeah. More
but-
field days and data collection, I guess, if
Yeah.
you're looking to try new practices.
Exactly.
Does data help change your mind, or is it more anecdotal, or both?
I'm stuck in the middle of it.
Okay.
I love numbers. I've told you before, I am a very analytical person, but yet it's the individual experience that seems the most relevant.
Right, it's got to
When-
fit your lifestyle. And,
Well, yeah, and not even realizing with grazing, realizing the amount of lifestyle change. It wasn't dramatic, but it was much more significant than I expected.
Okay.
Um,
in a
and-
positive way, or
Yeah,
a
in a
negative
positive
way?
way.
Okay.
And cover crops as well, just going with Triticale, it wasn't that much of a disruption.
Okay.
It's a little more time when we're really busy with first crop, but it's no different than having 20 extra acres or 10 extra acres of hay at that
Yeah.
time either. So,
Okay, great. Okay, well that's all for us today. So thanks, Paul, for having us out, and hopefully we'll continue to hear good things from you, and we'll probably be back.
well, thank you. I enjoyed speaking with you.
Thanks.